Welcome to Squidflicks.com, your guide to great movies. This is another episode of Squidflicks Real Talk. Today's interview features Brian Trenchard-Smith, director of Leprechaun 3 and 4, and over 42 other movies and TV series.
Hello, is this Mr. Today we have a very special guest to interview. In honor of St. Patrick's Day, we have Brian Trenchard-Smith, director of Leprechaun 3 and Leprechaun 4 in Space on the show. Thank you, Mr. Trenchard-Smith, for joining us today.
Oh, my pleasure. Happy to be here.
How did you find yourself in the director's chair for Leprechaun 3?
Well, I had made Night of the Demons 2 for Blue Rider Pictures, Jeff Joffre and Walter Jostin, and then they were asked by Trimark to make what was perceived to be the last of, the third of the Leprechaun series, because number 2 had not done the kind of business that number 1 had done.
Yeah.
And so they said, hey, look, do Leprechaun in the capital of greed, Vegas. Here's $1.2 million, means you have to shoot it in 14 days, but hey, just do what you like, really. We weren't heavily supervised at all. And so I thought that it was, in number 2, I felt the Leprechaun was neither scary nor funny. And it is a little hard to make someone who's 3 foot 1 inch tall, but has magical powers. It's a little hard to make that person scary all the time. So I just decided to go for black ironic humor wherever possible, and have him speak entirely in rhyme or limericks. So I worked extensively on the script from the original, which I didn't feel was funny, and on we went from there. And Leprechaun in Vegas number 3 turned out to be the highest-selling direct-to-video of 1995, shipping I think 55,000 units. And in those days, they were wholesaling at $50 a piece. So that was a nice chunk of change for Trimark. As a result, they came back to us and said, well, you have to make another one. It was going to end at 3, but now we have to do 4. And so, Leprechaun in Space was born, basically out of a Christmas party gag card mocking Apollo 13, with putting a leprechaun on board the space shuttle there, and having him wreak havoc. And I suggested, well, that's a nice idea, but why don't we just take the Aliens Matrix and have a creature on board a spaceship, and the Space Marines are trying to hunt it down, except the creature is a leprechaun, and he has a lightsaber in his shillelagh, and he has other gifts, and let's make it as outrageously satirical and funny as we possibly can. The end result is Leprechaun in Space. Some people say it's the one that they like most. Others say that it's just too wacky and out there, and they prefer Leprechaun number 3. Then, of course, there was Leprechaun in the Hood, which I was initially invited to be involved in, but I felt that it wasn't right for a middle-aged white guy to be making fun of black culture, and that should be done by a black director. So I really had also felt that I'd done anything that was really original with the Leprechaun, and I guess the one thing we didn't do is have him smoke a joint, which in Leprechaun in the Hood. But and it went on to there was a second Leprechaun in the Hood.
Yeah.
And I'd love to see them make Leprechaun versus Chucky,
Yeah.
Battle of the Giants. That would be fun.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Do you feel like the series has more potential to continue making sequels? Do you feel like a remake is eventually is to what to come to that series?
Well, but there are many things you could still do with it. But I don't know whether Warwick Davis would really want to do another one. Warwick was a real trooper because it would take 3 hours, sometimes longer, to put his leprechaun makeup on. It would take between about half an hour to take it off, and there is of course the chemical, the effect of the chemicals on your face, and so it's it was a rugged experience for him and his makeup, of course, was fitted into 12-hour days. But nonetheless, he really, it's not an easy experience to wear that amount of prosthetic makeup every day. But Warwick and I got on splendidly, and we had a really fun time because I wanted to plug into his natural comedic ability. And if he came up with a funny line, we would use it, so it was it was great. So I don't know whether working with another Leprechaun would have the same chemistry. I don't know. We would have to see, but perhaps there are other ways the use of the Leprechaun could be, other directions, but. That the show could go in. I mean, the Leprechaun could replace the Crypt Keeper and narrate and maybe occasionally interfere with tall tales from the dark side of some kind. So another thing actually Warwick wanted to do, and I thought that would be nice, is actually play. There's a series of books of a little person private detective who solves all sorts of crimes and helps people. And there are, I forget the name of the books and the author, but there is a number of them. And he would have liked to have done that as a franchise, but to this day, I don't believe anyone has been able to find the backing for it. But the Leprechaun, he's a very handy, spokesperson, let's say, for various gags and criticisms of either established cinema forms or certain social constructs. So we stick it to the health profession in Leprechaun in Vegas, and quite a few other institutions, and the same in space. There are a lot of references to past movies and past genres, and so it was a very good coat hanger to hang a lot of interesting amusing gags on. So it obviously, people still rent it or buy the DVD, and I think get a group of people around the monitor and play the movie, and many of them have seen it before, and you have a few drinks and you have a few laughs. And Leprechaun parties, I think, should proliferate across the United States on Day.
Exactly.